So you've found a great property, you've made an offer, and it's been accepted. Fantastic. Congratulations, well done. But that is only the first 2 hurdles. Once you've got over the initial excitement, then it's time to get motoring. And in this part of my no-nonsense guide to buying a home, I'm going to be taking you through the what happens now bit, because it is absolutely vital what happens now. This is where the whole legal process kicks into gear. So you need an experienced solicitor or conveyancer on board to advise you and to actually handle the legalities on your behalf. The estate agent is going to ask you for their name and contact details as soon as your offer is accepted, so you need them to hand. A quick word, if I may, here about the difference between the two. A solicitor is a qualified legal professional with training in lots of different branches of law. They can deal with more complex issues, but you still need to make sure that they're experienced in property matters. Whereas on the other hand, a conveyancer only specialises in the legal aspects of property purchases and sales, and they're typically a bit cheaper than a solicitor. I promise you, having the right person on your side is so important that we've added a link with this episode that will connect you with our panel of experienced property professionals. While you're there, don't forget to download our fantastic free ebook that goes with this series. It should be really helpful. So, with your offer accepted and your solicitor in place and under instruction, things now move into their hands, essentially. Your solicitor or conveyancer will conduct searches, such as checking with the local council to see if there are any planning issues or problems. Your conveyancer will liaise regularly with the seller's conveyancer, your mortgage lender, and also with the estate agent. They will ask for and check all documents provided by the seller. They'll also tell you what you need to provide yourself. Finally, they'll collect the money from you and the lender, pay any stamp duty owed, and transfer the purchase price to the seller for completion. Your role during this whole period is to stay responsive and provide anything required promptly. Stay involved. Get to know what is going on. Get to understand who's doing what and when and why and when everything is expected. The other thing that you need to organise while the solicitor is doing the searches, etc., is a property survey. This is an optional step. Your lender will conduct their own survey to check that the property is worth at least the amount that they're lending you. But the purpose of this is not actually to check the condition of the house. Yes, your lender will conduct their own survey, albeit you might have to pay for it, but it is their survey for their purposes, and their purposes are to check the property is worth at least the amount that they are lending you. But the purpose of this is not actually, really strictly, to check the condition of the property. So having your own survey done can absolutely uncover potential issues such as damp or a dodgy roof, things like that. And then if you have one of those, then you could use the results to decide whether or not to try and renegotiate your price or your offer. And of course also to budget for any minor work that you might subsequently need to do to the property. Alternatively, you can ask the seller to fix any problems before you complete the whole buying process. So you've got options. A property survey can cost anything between, well, £200 and maybe even a couple of £1,000, depending on how in-depth you want the property report to be, and of course how old and how big the property itself is. When everything's in place with your solicitor and the seller's legal team, then at that point you are ready to exchange contracts. And at that point you need to agree a completion date for when the property officially becomes yours. It's really important to mention, exchange is also the point when both parties are legally committed to the deal. Before that, actually anybody can change their mind. Exchange of contracts, once that's done, the deal is done. Make sure at that point that you have building insurance in place. And you need that as soon as you've exchanged, not when you completed, believe it or not. Exchange is when you become responsible for the property, even though you're not actually living in it. building insurance covers the structure of the building and is usually required by mortgage lenders before they hand over the funds on completion date. So you've exchanged contracts, now you have a completion date, and that's all agreed, everything's set. At that point, it's time to book your removal company, and of course, the further in advance you can book that, the better. Remember that if you decide to hire a van and do it yourself, then your contents insurance for your furniture and bits and bobs may not cover any damage. We've added links to all these services in the notes for you. You are then ready to complete. Really exciting day, and my must-haves for that stage are coming up in the next episode. So I'll leave it there for now. Make sure you're subscribed and join me next time.